Zadandani, Election Ninja here. Real quick before we actually get into this. This does contain spoilers for the My Hero Academia manga. I purposely worded this so that you wouldn't necessarily realize what I'm talking about if you are only an anime only. But yes, okay? So everyone leave that's not caught up at least to the war arc. Okay? Everyone gone? Cool. Let's talk about Deku's coma. Oh my gosh. Oh, the war arc. How you confuse me. So, first off, let's actually make one thing clear. Yes, Deku is in a coma during the war arc. And I'm not 100% certain exactly when he goes under, but that's not the point of this video. What the point of this video is to ask what exactly is going on inside Deku's head while he's in this coma. Now, obviously, we've seen multiple times in the past where Deku has been in this kind of unconscious state where he meets up with the different users of One for All. Obviously, the first one being in the second season when he first faces off against Shinso. The second time being when he's asleep, which I'm still a bit confused about how that worked. But yeah, obviously when he's asleep at the end of the current season, season 4, yes, he's asleep, and then he wakes. He sees the different users of One for All. And then after that, we again see them show up during the, well, actually a few times, but we also see them during the training arc where he unlocks the power to use his other quirks. And then finally, of course, we get to see it once again a few times during the war, which, yeah, those were insane. And I actually think that due to the increasing times that we've been seeing this, I think that soon we are going to be getting one of, if not the last time, that we will be going inside the quirk. As in, we are going to be seeing Deku interacting with all of the users for One for All while he is in this coma. And what exactly is going to be happening here? Well, I think that they are about to begin training him in his dreams to actually figure out what the heck is going on with him and to get him ready to finally take down All for One. And basically, we're going to be seeing I think this could be in a few chapters, and when it eventually comes into anime, it might be in a few different episodes, where basically we get to see the inside of Deku's brain, as he is working alongside the previous users to train to use each of their quirks. Obviously, starting with those that he's already gained, specifically Black Whip, Float, and Spidey Sense. I will continue to be calling it that because that is what it is. But he's basically going to be working with these, starting off by working with these three, and basically over time, as he uses these quirks more and more within the world, he is going to gain more of his body within this world. First off, he's absolutely going to be getting his mouth, so that he'll actually be able to speak in this world. He's also going to get some of his legs so that he can walk around and stuff. And obviously his arm, at least one arm, is going to become active. So, yeah. Basically, these things are going to be growing little by little, as he masters each quirk. And as he finishes mastering each of them, he eventually is able to command each of the different quirks. And this is going to be how we're going to find out about 2 and 3's quirks. Now, obviously, the first quirk is, so obviously we've got, the first quirk that we're going to be seeing a lot more with is Black Whip. He's pretty much mastered it at this point, but I still feel like there's going to be a little bit more with that, as well as a little bit of training to actually properly wield the Super Strength quirk. That's just my current theory for that whole situation. But yes, he is going to learn how to properly use the super strength quirk without damaging his body. And one, it's probably going to be continuing to have him spread it out throughout his entire body, but it's also going to be figuring out how to properly limit it so that it's not going to be as challenging for him to do. Then, obviously, once he's mastered how to actually use it, then he's going to start getting more quirks. Hopefully, by the end of this moment, he's actually able to control 100% of the strength quirk by himself without necessarily having to worry too much, which I think would be really cool. And once he's once he's woken up from the coma, he'll be able to control each of the different quirks, and he'll also be able to do the sensing thing really easily. But I also think that he's going to have a limited amount of use for the other ones. Basically, each of the different users are going to be controlling the quirk themselves to a certain degree. So, yeah. Now, what exactly are these other quirks, and what will we be seeing from them? Well, I've mentioned it before that I think that all of these quirks have actually been shown in the first moments of My Hero Academia. Now, obviously, if you've watched the anime, then you know only a few of these quirks that... You know most of the quirks that I'm talking about. Obviously, super strength that is similar to the construction work guy. I always forget what his name is, but yeah. That is the base quirk. Now, just seeing that, no big deal. Okay? We can all admit that that's no big deal. We'll see that and we'll just be like, oh, okay. That's fine. But something that instantly triggered this theory for me when I was first working on it is seeing that Black Whip worked very similarly to Commonly Wood's quirk, Chain Prison, or whatever you want to call it. That is what... It's so odd that it works nearly identical to that quirk. So it got me thinking that each of the different quirks could actually... Well, maybe not all of them, but many of them could actually be connected to the quirks that we see in those first few moments. Now, you may be thinking, what about Float and the Spidey Sense? Yeah, Float is actually one of these quirks. The Spidey Sense, no, absolutely not. But there had to be some that were actually like this. Obviously, All Might's quirk, if he does have one, is not like any of the quirks that we see there. And we also kind of expected that number 2, which I'm going to be talking about in just a sec, is also likely not going to be connected because we do need to see at some point a healing quirk within Deku. It just makes sense because eventually he is going to have to use his fire manipulation. Just trust me on this. And he needs something that will heal that quirk back to its original state, or they need to imbue it back into him, which I don't think is even there anymore. So I think it's either destroyed or it's currently within All for One. So yeah, and there's not an easy way to get it back. Same goes for Search. So yeah. But yeah, so obviously Spidey Sense not going to be is not connected. But like I said that Float was actually one of them. But you may all be thinking, what the frell are you talking about? There's no character with the Float ability. And you are right. In the anime. In the manga, we actually get to see someone with a quirk similar to Float. Not exactly, but Hatsume Miku's... Wait, no, why am I saying Hatsume Miku? I know that her name's Hatsume, but, Mei Hatsume, sorry. Clearly she's based off Hatsume Miku, I'm just saying, or at least her name is, but Mei Hatsume, when she specifically mentions a specific hero that inspired her, this being the jetpack hero. Now, in the anime, we never see him except for in that one moment when she's talking about it. But in the manga, we actually do get to see him very briefly at the very beginning of the series. As in the first frickin' page when we first see Deku looking up and seeing all of these heroes fighting against the criminal up on Tatooine Station. The guy is just up in the corner, and it's almost not noticeable. But yeah, he's there, meaning that Float is also freaking there. Which means that if my theory is correct, that every single one of these that a good majority of these powers were actually told to us pretty early on, I still think that number 3 and number 6 are going to have quirks that have to do with those specific people. I've said before that I think that number 6 is actually going to be the one who has the size manipulation quirk. Kind of like how Mount Lady has. Meaning that Deku will be able to go massive or go tiny, and so that he can eventually take down Gigantomachia, as well as probably a few other villains that are smaller. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think that it could be possible. More than likely, the base quirk, all it had was to be able to shrink, which is why that no one would go after it, because who's going to use a frickin' shrinking quirk? But now that it's been within the whole world, basically, within One for All for so long, it means that it's actually going to have both quirks now within it, and it's going to actually be a size manipulation quirk that works extremely well. I think that it's going to be really interesting, to say the least. And as for the water quirk, based off of Backdraft, yeah, the third user had that quirk, I think. Something to do with water. Is it actually going to be like water manipulation or anything like that? I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a spray thing like what we see in the water hose. But those two quirks are are the only quirks that we still have left that we don't know what the heck they are. Obviously, the second user, I still 100% believe that that quirk is definitely freaking a healing quirk that will allow Deku to, one, it's going to keep him healed whenever he uses his full power, but it will also allow him to heal his quirk as well as other people's quirks, so that he'll be able to use his flame manipulation that he got from his parents. Honestly, I think that these ideas are kind of insane, and I don't know if it's actually going to happen. But I think that this would be the best way that they could actually introduce the other quirks relatively easily, by just having him find out about them from these people. Obviously, he has to train with them in the real world, but he will be able to do a little bit of training while he sleeps or while he's in the coma. Basically, they're going to unlock the abilities with him in this coma, which will take a bit of time, and then when he's finally woken up, he will tell All Might he's unlocked all of the quirks and he's ready to start using them, but he needs to start practicing a lot more. And from that, he's going to start training a lot more, and I'm really excited to see this. And also, I think that a lot of fans are just gonna be like, yay! To see Deku just go full strength to take down Shigaraki and One for All eventually. Or All for One, I guess. So, yeah. I don't know. Those are just some theories that I have about this whole thing. So, obviously, they may not be right. But, of course, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. If you have a theory, please make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comments so that we can talk about it in a future video. And, of course, if you are new, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. And even if you're not new, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Or make sure that you have, because apparently only like 25% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so please do subscribe. And of course, if you do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias and ways that you can support us financially, including our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron Sheeny, and of course our merch store, and of course the book. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, before I actually forget, also check out the other two channels. But anyways, guys, like I said, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!